Yo, what is going on, Cover On Crew? Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody is doing good. As always, Thursday Night Football in the books. What a game it was. Jameer Gibbs, Gibby, he continues to pile up the points for everybody. What are we talking today? Boomer Bust week number 14. Who's going to boom, who's going to bust, and who can we trust this week? It is final week of the fantasy football regular season. Playoffs are approaching. We're talking about playoffs, baby, and it is a big one. I'm telling y'all, if you guys are on the cusp of not making it, this is a huge week for all of us. I'm telling y'all, I'm in majority of my leagues, fighting in two to get into the postseason and those. But outside of 12, I'm in the playoffs. Hope you guys are as well. Last week did not go my way in terms of accuracy once again. Man, oh man, it was like late end stretches, just did not get it done, or they busted right at the end in garbage time. So I was 45% accuracy winner. Not great, man, but on the season, still okay. 56.2%, still above Vegas. You got to like it in that stretch as well. We will get back to the goods because we need it this week. And we're going to talk these running backs. Breece Hall taking on the Miami Dolphins. He is a 58.3% boom rate hitter. And it's been a rough season for these Jets overall, but the bright spot still has been a Breece Hall this season. I mean, almost 60% of his contests have been boom games. That is good. And I mean, it's looking like it could be this way to the end as well. The Jets, I mean, will he be a Jet next season? We'll see. That's where it kind of goes to. Hall still has decent upside, especially this week, versus the Miami Dolphins, who have been playing better football on the defensive side overall these last several weeks. Hall's got 4 boom games out of his last 5, and he should try to be able to carve out a nice amount of points in this one as well. Upside has come from the likes of a Tyrod Taylor because he is throwing the football at some levels of efficiency, at least better than what we saw from Justin Fields. We're calling boom for a Breece Hall once again this week. I do like the potential. He should be able to get us the points that we require. Travis Etienne taking on these Indianapolis Colts, 66.7% on that boom rate for Etienne. Okay, last week, the Jags and Etienne, they gave us nothing to smile about whatsoever. A big-time goose egg for a Travis Etienne was not good. But the Jaguars, they're winning games, which is a positive and does provide, that greater upside that we're looking for, especially to go back to that ground attack this week in a very important showdown versus division rival. Those Indianapolis Colts with Daniel Jones, Daniel Pennies, Daniel Nichols, Danny Nichols. I mean, Etienne, okay, we'll see. He's been steady this year. What else can you say? He's racking up points to be, the 12th ranked running back in fantasy football right now, coming off 4 straight booms before last week's bust. He has had a very strong season overall, man. Etienne looks like he, it was one of those situations where I believe that they could have been saving him for this contest, knowing how important it was versus these Indianapolis Colts. Upside is definitely out the wazoo for a Travis Etienne to run big in this one, and I, for one, am banking on it in a very big way. Back to boom for Travis Etienne this week. Huge divisional show. He should have his best on display. Bam Knight taking on the LA Rams, 40% boom rate hitter, and I mean, one of the most impressive waiver wire fill-in running backs this season has been Bam Knight. You can't argue that. He's been decent enough to be that fill-in running back, at least low-end running back 3 flex appeal numbers have been there. He's posted 3 boom games in a row these last 3 outings in the Cardinals. Okay, the season's a wrap. We know this at this point. But, I mean, facing the Rams defense, it's stingy on most weeks. Last week, they kind of got hampered a little bit, and they're going to be looking for blood because they dropped a very winnable contest versus those Carolina Panthers in Week 13, and they should take out all their frustrations on these Arizona Cardinals in this offense. Bam Knight still has, at least touches and volume upside this week once again if you are looking to play him, because anything can happen versus a strong defense. But, I mean, the volume upside is kind of where we're going with this, but the top-end points should be capped off to some degree. I'm going to play it safe and call bust this week for Bam Knight. I do not like it. Omarion Hampton taking on the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football. Still wondering, 60% of that boom rate, still wondering if he is going to return this week, but I'm going to put him here anyway. If he does not suit up, then we'll just take him off the list in terms of endpoint accuracy totals. But going back to the offseason, we know the Chargers, Omarion Hampton, he's my dude, man. My guy, Omarion. He hasn't seen the field since week 5. It's been a big problem. I believe they said he had a slight fracture in his ankle or whatever. I mean, he's on the road to recovery anyway. 21-day window has been opened up, and he should maybe suit up in this contest, looking to gear up and get back on the field for the first time in the last 8 weeks. And many hope they're going to trust this rookie to carry them in a big way. I myself Maybe we'll start him in a couple leagues where I do have running back issues, but I mean, I do caution the play overall if you have better options. Justin Herbert's dealing with a broken hand. His option is questionable in this contest as well. Marion Hampton, he's going to be full of rust and off a big-time long layoff, especially if it is Trey Lance starting at quarterback. I might keep it safe this week. Keep him on the bench one more week if he does suit up. I'm going to call it a cautiously bust for Marion Hampton this week. I do not like it, man. Wide receivers, Emeka Egbuka, my dude, taking on the New Orleans Saints, 50% boom rate player so far this season for this rookie. And I mean, the good news for Emeka, he is the ninth ranked wide receiver so far as we sit today. Truly a fantastic rookie season campaign for the former Buckeye. Absolutely love it. However, man, the top end points, they have not been earned they were earned in the first half of the regular season. Now it's like popping off early on. Now since week number 10, the Bucs have, had their share of injuries hit them. We haven't seen Emeka really do any damage since week 10 overall. But I mean, he's got to deal with top-end coverage on his side with all those injuries that did transpire. Finally, Godwin is back. Bucky is back. Pressure should definitely be relieved off his shoulders just a little bit this week. And I mean, playing a weaker Saints defense overall, this does have the makings to be a big-time get-right game in the biggest of ways as the Buccaneers continue to try to put the stranglehold on this division. Only having one boom game in the last 7. Get ready for Emeka to be a big-time baller to get you in those playoffs. On the right note, I'm calling boom time for my guy Emeka Egbuka. I absolutely do like the play this week. Troy Franklin taking on those Las Vegas Raiders, 41.6% on that boom rate for Franklin. Okay, looking for that upside play of the week. I mean, you got to get into those playoffs, stack those points. The Broncos definitely have a tasty matchup versus these Raiders, and they look to keep that stranglehold on the entire AFC, having the number 1 seed. And I do believe Cortland Sutton should be able to feast in this one as well. But the Broncos, they could go into cruise control victory without breaking a sweat in this one big time, especially how the defense plays. Geno Smith's already been sacked 5 times as I'm speaking, but I'm just saying, it's going to be many options on the field, including Troy. Hopefully he does have a nice showing. He's had a decent campaign overall, and he should give us what we require, man. PPR upside is definitely here, but certainty should happen this week for Troy Franklin. I'm calling a boom with an end zone trip coming for this speedster. I do like the play of Troy Franklin this week. Rome Odunze taking on the Green Bay Packers, 50% on that boom rate, much like the evaluation for Emeka. Rome has definitely started the season on the high note, but it has cooled off in a big way as the year moved forward. The Bears, they're winning games in spite of Rome Odunze and his efforts right now. Caleb making plays, but far less consistent as of late in the pass game overall. It has hampered the top end points for Rome Odunze. Has not looked good, man. Rome only has 1 boom game in the last 5 with a true goose egg, 0 points on the board in there as well. Things don't get any easier for Odunze this week either, man. Taking on the Pack at Lambeau. It's not good. Huge divisional showdown. I mean, reports also showing that Rome is dealing with some kind of injury of his own as well. That's not good news. This has become something of a risky play, especially in a do-or-die week. For me, I'm going to play it safe for better or worse. He pops off on my bench, I understand, but I don't like the play, so we're going to call bust for this future stud, man. He should have better weeks once they improve this pass game. Scary Terry McLaurin taking on those Minnesota Vikings, 40% boom rate. Okay, I know this is truly recency bias, but I really don't care, man. I played it safe last week, said Terry could be kind of, on a snap count, and he really wasn't, man. He made me look foolish, popping off in a very big way, 20-plus points, or almost 20 points last week. And I mean, the commies, they get their chance to put the dagger into the Vikings as well. McLaurin could be that savior we're looking for down the stretch in the fantasy playoffs also, which is positive news. Jaden Daniels may actually be returning to the field as well. If not, Mariota's been doing enough in bunches to get the points going. The Vikes do have a sound pass defense, should come after whatever quarterback's there, but I really don't care this week. I'm going to risk the biscuit, back-to-back booms this week for Scary Terry as we try to get into those fantasy playoffs. Tight ends, finishing this thing off with tight ends, man. Dalton Schultz taking on these Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. 50% on that boom rate, and one player who has climbed back to relevance this season for fantasy football has been the Texans' Dalton Schultz, man, with C.J. Stroud back behind center. Dalton, I mean, enough to get, one grab enough to get a boom last week? It wasn't a great contest for him overall, but I mean, could that continue this week as well? As CJ Stroud isn't typical for feeding the tight end on the regular, taking on the Kansas City Chiefs this week. It is a massive showdown for Patrick Mahomes and company. If KC loses, you can pack up their bags for the rest of the offseason as well already, because they will likely miss the playoffs if they do lose, drop another contest. So I fully expect the best defensive show on tap for the Kansas City Chiefs, coming after CJ Stroud, trying to be, covering everybody on the field. Dalton should have some target upside as well, but not enough for me to trust this week. I'm calling a bust for a Dalton Schultz. I do not like it. Darren Waller taking on the New York Jets. 60% on that boom rate for Waller. And one player I definitely scoffed at when he returned from retirement was the rap artist. I mean, former tight end star Darren Waller. Since coming back, I mean, he started the season extremely well. I mean, but then he went to the injured reserve, and he finished last week without any major issue. Did not hit a boom game last week, so fine. At least he got his football legs back up under him. Waller should definitely see target share increase this week as well, and I do believe we can trust that in a big way. There is some risk here as well because Tua continues to turn the football over, not playing great football overall, but I feel very confident, at least in a red zone trip, at least short, maybe 2 or 3 come his way in the red zone. I can definitely see it, banking on a boom for a Darren Waller this week. There is not a lot of risk, but there is some good reward. A.J. Barner taking on the Atlanta Falcons, 50% boom rate for an A.J. Barner, and one player I've been pushing up all season long off that waiver wire. It's been A.J. Barner, man. And as we sit today, for real, this Hawks team is like this Jekyll and Hyde when it comes to their offensive strategy right now. Do they want to be a run team? I don't know. Do Darnold making mistakes? Can they continue this pass attack? I don't know. The defense is bailing them out. And then outside of JSN, who has been the most consistent player, last week got a bust. You traded for Rashid Shaheed. I never understood that trade either, especially with the way that Torrey Horton was playing football. I mean, it's moot now, obviously, because Horton is now on the injured reserve, but they're still not using Shaheed either. And Barner, I mean, he should be a guy that's getting at least 10 points per week in this offense. The fact they don't use Cooper Kupp, this should be Barner weeks all the time. Their offensive identity definitely does concern me. He's posted 3 busts in the last 4 games, facing the Falcons this week, seeing JSN coming off his first bust of the season. They're going to make a conscious effort to get JSN the football this week after last week's dud. It's going to leave a lot of scraps for A.J. Barner in Week 14. TD is legit only thing saving his day this week. I'm calling a bust for an A.J. Barner. I will look in other directions this week. K. Dotton taking on the New Orleans Saints, 25% on that boom rate. And finally, I mean, we got the looks of a nice matchup for K. Dotton versus these New Orleans Saints. But I mean, the Bucs are going to try to go back to what made them extremely explosive early on in the season. They're going to run the football with Bucky Irvin. He looked good last week. Set up that play action pass. Go back to Emeka Egbuka. Get Chris Godwin more target share. Get his football legs back in shape. And Baker, I mean, we know he's playing hurt, and he needs to have a strong show, no question, to keep his playoff race, keep the division lead going. Otten should get some targets, but not enough for me to make a strong impact in this one. So I'm calling a bust once again for Cade Otton. If you were looking to stream this tight end, I would suggest otherwise. But there you have it. That is Boomer Bust week number 14. Who's going to boom, who's going to bust, and who can we trust as we enter the fantasy football playoffs? Huge week for us. I got start sit for you on Saturday, like always, to get you in the know on these players, and we will hoist those trophies, no question. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts, and we'll see you next time. I am out.